When I learned the Bible, I found that the Maasai, they follow the Old Testament precisely. So there was nothing in the Old Testament that the Maasai were not practicing. So we started to think, how could this happen? So we started now to follow the history, and so they know that they are not originally citizens in Kenya. They came, but the history which I heard about, they started from Cairo, where it's in Egypt. And because they are looking after the cattle, this life of living from one area, when the grass are finished in the area, they go further. And they have been going further, and they don't go back because of following grass. So even many places in Kenya, they have the Maasai names because other tribes followed them. So the names like Nakuru, Naivasha, Nairobi, all these names are Maasai names. So they know that they don't belong to Kenya. They just came because of herding the cattle. So after looking the culture, it's very similar to Israel. So they started now to follow their history. And they found other funny things, the way they worship God. They used to say, God of our fathers. So they are still looking to get Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Wherever they pray, they call God of our fathers. So that is one indication which also show that the Maasai, and even in their culture, you know, Jacob, when he wrestled with an angel and he was crushed, the Maasai never eat the meat of this place where Isaac was crushed. Wherever they kill a cow, they don't eat that meat. They leave it. So we wonder when we saw that, even this. Yeah. So they really accept themselves that they come from Israel. So that is their belief. Yeah. And really how they worship God, they really worship in the Old Testament system fully. Yeah.
Can you tell anything about the scroll?
Yeah, that is the way they get their history. They call it Proverbs. But in the Maasai, they call it a scroll. So wherever they discuss, because they said these proverbs were written in the scroll, in skin. So wherever they discuss, they say, is there anything in the scroll which is equivalent to what we want now to do? So they call it in the Maasai name, and Dunget Arashe. When they call it Dunget Arashe, it was a skin within some written things in the past which has taken place. So they should know whether they are equivalent to what they are discussing. So there is, yes.
But those scrolls disappeared, those things?
Yeah, they have completely disappeared because of this movement. When they leave and go, they don't know why they lost it. but they still recall them. Yeah, but they don't have them.
Is there a special clan or family that has its mission to tell this story further on, to tell the story from father to son to the next son, and really keep the story going on? Does anyone have that duty?
Yeah, before they have, but in these days, after they have gone to school, and especially when they started having this political life, there was an age, Maasai age, where they were the first one to be political. Now, according to how the government is running, from that age, things are not being so much considered. But before it was, yeah, it was. They have some people who are very clever in history, so they go to them and get the history. Even my father was one of them. He was very clever in his lifetime, and that is why I also gathered many things from him. So they have special people which follow history very much. Yeah, they have. Yeah.
Can you give some examples how the Maasai culture and Israel in the Old Testament were similar to each other?
Yeah, as I have said, the way of worship, and especially making sacrifices. When they make sacrifice, they slaughter either a sheep or a goat, and they also get an animal which is blameless, with no blame. And also because now they don't have priests who are recognized, but when they wanted to sacrifice, they must get somebody whom they said is somehow holy. He has he's not blameless, he has not killed a person, he has good eyes, teeth and whatever. And also if you beat somebody and break his teeth, you are not holy. So you can't make a sacrifice. Yeah, so sacrifices is also another very, something very clear that the Maasai followed, similar to Israel. Yeah.
Did they sacrifice at special occasions or now and then?
In special occasions, yeah, in special occasions. And it was really, they believe, and it has been working before. Even when they need even rain, they go and sacrifice, and most of the time they get rain immediately. So they respect because of the results. Yeah. Yeah.
The future, the Bible says that all of the Jewish people, tribes, will be gathered in Israel again. What do you say?
Yeah, the only sign I have seen is how they are behaving, the Maasai now. That they are now trying to gather themselves as a Maasai tribe. And they have big meetings of worshiping God. So to bring the Maasai together is now almost very easy. And they are really hungry for God. So for them to come together, because I didn't see any other tribe in Kenya which try to gather themselves as a nation or as a whole tribe. It's only the Maasais. So there is something going on, which I have now suspected that it is a way to bring them together. I don't know whether they will go back to Israel, but in Kenya, they are going to come together, especially in a form of worship. Yeah. And even before, they have just been worshiping the true God. They did not worship idols. They worship the God of heaven, of their fathers, as I said before. So they are not used to idols. Only when they started to have these people, Loiboni, are the ones who came and misled them. As a kind of prophets, they prophesy of things, and they are the ones who misled the Maasais. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe a group of the people, Maasai people, will go to Israel.
Maybe. Maybe, but what I have seen, they will gather together in Kenya and worship the real God.
That's real.
Yeah, that is real today. But going to Israel,
you can go very fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know that the colors of the Maasai flag is according to the Israel flag?
Not every, but especially in the Morans.
In the Moran?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wherever they have that big village for the Moran, they used to have a flag, yes.
And that is blue and white?
Yeah, they like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's the same color as in Israel?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a connection too.
Yeah. Mm.
And it will be interesting to follow this.
Oh, yeah.
To see what will happen.
What will happen, of course. Yeah.
Because in the Bible it says that all the Jewish people, the tribes, will worship Messiah when he comes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there the Masais will be too.
They will be too, of course.